4 days ago, I ran 10k in my hometown of Forfar, and somehow I managed to shave 6 minutes off of my PB time. I came in with a time of 37 minutes 48 seconds, and that was an improvement from about 44 minutes something exactly a year before. Crossing the finish line in that time, even though I knew I'd done the training, was a little bit of a shock because I wasn't too sure if I was capable of it. So I wanted to make a little video which outlined and showed you guys all the things that I've done over the past year to make that happen, to shave off those 6 minutes, because I always thought and I always believed that I would never really be a great runner. I wasn't built for it, I didn't have the legs, I didn't have the genetics, I wasn't one of those, stereotypical kind of shorter, lighter, 60 to 70 kilograms guy that's going to be in the top 10 of a race like that. I actually came in 10th overall out of the whole race, and the previous year I was about 40th. So the improvements that I've made with my running over this past year have been pretty monumental. This is not a video to go, oh my god Ryan, you're so amazing. It's actually to do the exact opposite. It's to show you that regardless of how good you think you are at running right now, if you think you're shit at running, if you think you're not built for running, if you think you're a terrible runner, I want to make this video to show you that there is a system, there is a process, and there is a program that can actually help you go from being that person that I thought I was to actually, finding out I can be pretty handy at running with the right training. I have never been a great runner my whole life. It has never been something that I've been blessed with, but I've taken a full year from that last 10k to this 10k on Sunday past there and shaved 6 full minutes off of it and come out with a 37.48. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the 6 most important points that I think helped me shave that 6 minutes off. First thing to note is that everyone is different. Everyone's got a different starting point, and this does not necessarily mean that this is a copy and paste system. This does not necessarily mean that if you do exactly as I do, you will get the same results. But I do believe that through this system, these have been the most important things that helped and benefited me. So first things first, I done more easy miles on my feet, running, and also more easy miles on the bike than I've ever done before. You'll hear a lot of people refer to this as like your easy stuff or your zone 2, zone 3 work, and this is the work that you do at lower intensities, which shouldn't feel hard. It should feel conversational. You should be able to have a conversation with the person next to you. It should feel easy. You shouldn't feel in absolute pieces the day after. Some of these runs may actually end up being longer in distance and longer in time. So the more of that you can do during the week, the better. Benefit of it is building an aerobic base, helping improve the way that your heart and your lungs function. Now that's why I think I've been able to get faster, because I've had this large foundation to be able to do all of this extra work on top of. Now for me, there's a limitation. I can probably only realistically at this moment in time in my life afford to be doing a couple of extra hours of this work every single week without it just overtaking my life. But I know there are a heap of people out there that are doing 50, 60, 70k of easy miles every single week. Do as much of it as you can that feels realistic. Second point is to have hard sessions in there, but to only realistically have a really, really hard running session every 5 to 10 days, depending on your experience. Now, it is important that you don't do these 3, 4, 5 times a week, because all that's going to happen is you're going to create too much fatigue, too much soreness, and you're never going to be able to recover from it, especially alongside all the other work that you want to do, either in the gym or, you might be a high rocks athlete, you might be trying to do your station work as well. And even if you are just a runner, the other running that you do across the week is then going to have a massive detrimental effect on that. So these kind of sessions can be like your track sessions. I'm at the track today, I'm about to do a pretty hard session, I'm about to do some 800s. The 800 pace is going to be, I'm going to be pushing my 5k PB pace within those 800 meters, and then I'm going to be taking 400 of a rest in between. So these sessions are hard, they should push your limits, they should help you understand what you're actually capable of a lot of the time. It's not necessarily the physical adaptation that it creates, but it's also the psychological benefit that it has in your head, so that you can build trust in yourself that you can actually do those paces. Because if you've never felt that pace, good luck trying it on race day. One thing that's important to note about these sort of sessions is you still should not be leaving these sessions broken in half, like flat on the ground at the end, as if you've just done the bleep test. That is not the aim of these sessions. They should be controlled, they should be structured. Shut your face, seagull. There should be method to them. Now this one isn't always practical, but something that I think is super important for you to be pulling PBs off of your race times is to actually have more experience in races. So if you're looking at your calendar for the next 12 months and you are training for a marathon at the end of that 12 months, but within that you've not got any more races, maybe there's a 10k in there, maybe there's a half marathon, maybe there's another half marathon, I don't know, you should potentially have some other races planned in there, because something that you can't prepare for during training is the adrenaline of how it feels to then race. 500 other people on the start line, music playing, tons of people around, can feel pretty overwhelming, and the whole race plan just goes to pot. Just the same as the way that you would describe, a football player. Sometimes where you chuck a young player into a really big game and he just freezes because the anxiety gets the better of him and he's too worried about what's going to happen. The same can happen with a run. If you just chuck yourself straight into that race day on marathon day, you might just get a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit too anxious, and your performance goes out the window. So racing more will help you prepare not only for the anxiety and the stress of the day, but it can also help you adopt some pacing strategies that you might want to use on race day. Being prepared for how that feels can be massive experience for then going for your PB. Now the next point can be a little bit of a difficult one, because this definitely requires you to have a good program, a good coach, or a real understanding of how to structure running, weight training alongside each other, and it's periodisation. Now, periodisation refers to essentially the idea of putting training into blocks to work on various different components of your fitness. If you are, a hybrid athlete, or you are someone that likes to lift weights but then also run, or even if you're just a runner, there is substance to having periodisation in place. Now, what this refers to is actually dedicating a particular block of training to a particular quality. So if you're going into a training block and you are just doing everything willy-nilly, you're just doing a bit of this, bit of that, bit of this, bit of that, and then there's not really any structure, there's not really any progression to it, it's kind of random. You might be going, I'm going to do a 5k one day, and the next day I'm going to do a 10k, and then, I don't know, might go to the gym today. Like, that in itself result in random results. Sometimes random results are good, sometimes they'll help you see progression, but sometimes they will just be random. And the more experienced you get, and the quicker that you get, and the fitter that you get, the more structured and periodized it needs to be. You will not get away with it just being fucking random when you're chasing sub 20 minute 5Ks and you're chasing sub 40 minute 10Ks. I actually mapped out everything for the past 6 months on a calendar. When am I racing? When do I have events? What qualities do I need to work on? And what that allowed me to do was make an informed decision on what qualities do I actually need to develop. And one of the qualities that I needed to develop earlier on this year, and I pointed that out, was my aerobic base. I actually went to Heriot-Watt University and actually got my lactate threshold test and VO2 max test, which helped me understand which direction I could go down with my training. You don't necessarily need to do that, but it's good to test to understand what to develop. Now, the next one is a little bit of a 3-for-1 deal, and it is race nutrition, carbon plates, fat loss and supplements. So it's actually a 4-for-1 deal. Now, race nutrition is something that kind of goes back to one of my other points, and it's race more. You don't just need to race more, you need to practice your nutritional setup more. If you're doing half marathon, ultra, arguably even 10k and 5k, there is substance for you to work out your nutrition strategy. If you don't have a nutrition strategy, and you don't have any way of kind of fueling during a run, before a run, after a run, then again, you're maybe missing out on a whole load of potential as to what you can actually do in that race. We all kind of know about carbohydrates now, why they're important. If we're not fueling with carbohydrates for our runs, having some sort of nutrition strategy in place is something that can be massively beneficial, and it is something that I've dialed in over the past 12 months. I've tried a whole bunch of different things. I figured out what maybe doesn't work for me, and I figured that out in training runs, not in races, to make sure that I know what works and what doesn't work. Another thing alongside that as well is supplements. Now, I've tried a whole bunch of different stuff. I'm almost like the crash test dummy for all my clients. The final thing on this point is carbon plates. Now, carbon plates in your trainers, everyone knows now that carbon plates work. You just need to wear a pair of Alpha Flies on a race. I wear the Puma Nitros, DV83s, and those things are flying machines. Like, I would suggest at least shave a minute off of my 10k time. If you're not wearing carbon plates and you're looking for some sort of easy gain, then honestly just get them. Like, if you are someone that's really looking to shave minutes off your time, especially for race day, I don't recommend using them for every training run. I recommend actually using them quite sparsely. You can maybe go back and watch my Puma DV83 trainer review or my Vaporfly trainer review, and you'll kind of find out a little bit more about why carbon plates work. I've worn both of them, they just make such a massive difference. And the final thing, it's one of the hardest things to do at times, but it's also probably the easiest win, and that's fat loss. I used to kick about at about 87 kilograms pretty consistently, and I was probably held a little bit more muscle than I did now, was probably a little bit stronger, but when my goal became running and high rocks, and it was a little bit, I was kind of pushing the dial a little bit closer towards high rocks and running. Losing weight was an easy win for me. At the end of the day, power to weight ratio matters. If I can still be as strong and as good a runner, but I'm carrying 5 less kilograms around, ideally in body fat, I'm sorry, but go and try and run a 5k tomorrow with a 5 to 10 kilogram vest on, then take the vest off and run it again the next week. When are you going to be faster? You're going to be faster without that weight on you. Yes, within reason, I'm very much of the opinion that I want to maintain as much of my mild muscle mass as I can. I'd love to be the fastest runner in the best shape with the most muscle, maintaining a nice level of fitness but also a good level of strength, which is always the goal for me, being a high rocks athlete first and foremost. Runner second, high rocks athlete first. And the final point before it pisses down with rain here is that train with someone faster than you. Go to a run club, run alongside someone that's faster than you, get a pacer to pace you in your race. So yeah, that is pretty much, in the grand scheme of things, how I shaved 6 minutes off my 10k time. It's simple in principle, but it takes a lot of hard work. It takes consistency, it takes not missing sessions, it takes getting the miles in when you don't want to, it takes running through the winter when it's fucking snowing outside and you can't be arsed. It takes doing miles upon miles on the treadmill. Not everyone loves doing that, very few people love doing that. It's a hard push, but at the end of the day, that's why I do it. To test the limits of my body, and it's to break beliefs that I had before, or lack of self-belief that I had before, that I wasn't a runner and I couldn't do these things and I couldn't get any faster. Sub 40 for a 10k seemed like an absolute pipe dream a year ago. It seemed like something that I would never be able to do, but here I am after a year of working pretty hard and dedicating a lot of time to it, and I've just absolutely annihilated the time. And I want to give every single person that's watching this faith that, like, if fitness is your goal and running is your goal and getting better is something you're a bit addicted to, like myself, then there's no reason to stop you. You just need structure, you need programming, but it's not as complicated as you think it is. And if you need any help, I actually run a training program, and I work with at least 50 people that are running or doing hybrid athlete things and keeping themselves in good shape while they do it, continuously helping these people improve. Team 9 to 5 Athlete, check us out on Instagram, check us out on TikTok, check us out on the website, check us out on, you name it, we're on it. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed this YouTube, and I will catch you next week.